Hello, everyone. Hope all is well. This lecture discussion is going to be on measurements. Some point one in your books starts off with U.S. measurement. These measurements are only really used in the U.S. or used in the U.S. mainly. I'll say it like that. Let's see, 12 inches. Now I'll just write down a few of them. These aren't all of them, but just a few of them, so we can do a few examples on how we can convert. All right, so first few conversion factors. We have 12 inches is equal to 1 foot, 3 feet is equal to 1 yard, 36 inches is equal to 1 yard, 5,280 feet is equal to 1 mile. All right, so first thing we want to do is look at this example of converting 18 inches to feet. All right, so we want to go from inches to feet. The first thing we need to do is find a conversion factor that deals with inches and feet, and that would be this one right here. Now, we can use this one of two ways. We can either write it as 12 inches over 1 foot or 1 foot over 12 inches. So it's the same measurements, just using it in a different way. One is inches over feet, the other one is feet over inches. So what decides or dictates how we use it? Well, we look at 18 inches. That's what we're starting off with. Place it over 1. Now, whatever is in the numerator as far as measurements is concerned, we have inches, needs to be down here in our denominator. All right. So if that's the case, I need to use the measurement or the conversion factor of 1 foot over 12 inches. So now what that allows to happen is that, like when you're dealing with your fractions, inches over inches can cancel. And that leaves us in this measurement of feet, which is what we wanted. So now I can multiply across. I can multiply across. And I'm left with 18 feet over 12, or 18 over 12 feet. And of course, you would be asked to reduce that. You can either simplify it by canceling out your fractions, or if you just divide 12 into 18, that would be 1.5 feet. If you decide to cancel it out by fractions, like, keep it in a fractional form, I should say. 18 is 6 over 3, 12 is 6 over 2, and that leaves you with 3 over 2 feet. So that's a legitimate answer as well. Your 6 is canceled, leave you with 3 over 2. So either one of these answers will be fine. The key here, though, is that if I start off in inches, I need inches down here to make the fractions connect so they can cancel out. Okay, so let's try that again. Let's go 14 feet to yards. All right. So we start off with 14 feet over 1. Now I need the conversion factor of feet to yards. So there's 3 feet in 1 yard. So I'll do 1 yard on top, 3 feet on bottom, so that my feet measurement can cancel. All right. So now if I multiply across, that'll be 14 over 3. And Weber sign will let you know if they want you to convert it to a decimal or not. This is a run-on decimal, 4.6 repeated, but either one of these answers would work since that 3 doesn't divide evenly into the 14. All right, let's look at another one. Got 3.5 tons to pounds. So what I would do with the 3.5 is convert it to an improper fraction. That's 3 times 2 plus 1, which would be 7/2 tons. So now set that up for our conversion factors. So 7/2 times. So we're looking at tons. You have to ask yourself, what's the conversion factor for tons to pounds or pounds to tons? And don't forget, these aren't book specific conversion factors. You can Google, you can ask Siri, you can ask anything or anybody, and these conversion factors will still be the same. But there are 2,000, and let me write this somewhere else so a little further over. 2,000 pounds equal to 1 ton. And that's what we're going to convert to. So let me go here. 1 ton is on bottom. 2,000 pounds on top. You want to multiply across, or you could cancel out first. It depends on how you normally work with your fractions. But if you decide to multiply across, that would be 14,000 over 2, which will leave you with 7,000 pounds. All right. So try those conversion factors out, or try any conversion factor out. No matter what the conversion factors, you can use the same process, same thoughts. Just remember, in order to connect your fractions in your multiplication process, this and this need to be the same so that they can cancel out. And then this is what you're left in as far as your measurements are concerned after you do your multiplication. All right. So let's look at the metric system, a metric measurement. All right, so these are the measurements that the world mostly used, measurements that are used around the world. So hopefully I gave myself enough room. No, I gotta get my space back. There you go. All right, so we have our prefixes, which is kilo, hecto, deca. Here's our base. Talk about that in more detail in a second. But then we have the deci, centi, and milli. abbreviation is K. Let me write that K better. HDA. So our abbreviations, K for kilo, H for hecto, DA for deca, D for deci or deci, C for center, and M for milli. GML are our bases. Like I said, I'll talk about that in a second once we move off of this chart. And then our value, kilos represents 1,000, 100, 10, 1, 1/10, 1/100, and 1/1000. All right. So these measurements move at a multiples of 10. All right. Our bases. Grams, meters, liters, abbreviation G, M, and capital L. This measures weight, length, and volume. So the way you would use these prefixes with these bases is that you can use either one of those bases. You would use them according to whatever you're trying to measure, whether it be a weight, length, or volume. And you will put either one of the prefixes in front of it, depending on the measurement that you got. So that would be kilogram, or could be kilogram, kilometer, or kiloliter, or it could be, I want a case, centigram, centimeter, or centiliter. So it just depends on the measurement and what you're trying to measure. That would dictate which base you're using and which prefix your base would have. All right. So you have to remember the order when it comes to using the metric system, because all you will be doing is moving the decimal to the right and left accordingly. So the way you can remember it is by using the phrase. So King Henry died by drinking chocolate milk. So that's kilo, hecto, deca. B is your base. So where that B is where you would put grams, meters, or liters. And then drinking is deci, C, centi, and M for milli. All right. So you have to remember the order, because once again, you're just going to be moving your decimal place accordingly to the right or left. So let's see what we mean by that. So we want to convert 0.38 meters to millimeters. All right. So look at the order. We got King Henry died by, your base is M, drinking chocolate milk. So that's your order right there. Remember your M, or in other words, that's your base. That will always be the case. Right here in the middle, your base will always be in the middle. of this order. And once again, it'll be either meters, grams, or liters. And that depends on what you're measuring. So we got kilometers, hectometers, decameters, meters, decameters, decimeters, centimeters, millimeters. And so now we want to convert 0.38 meters to millimeters. So you start here at 0.38 and you go 1, 2, 3 to the left, because that's what it took in order to get the millimeters. So you go to that 0.38 meters and you go 1, 2, 3 to the left. And since you don't have an extra another space here, you use 0 as your placeholder. And your final answer would be 380 meters. So all you're doing is moving your decimal to the right or left. Let's try that again. Let's see if we wanted to go. So let's do 12.9 centimeters to hectometers. I'll go ahead and rewrite that order under here again. So now I'm at centimeters. And I want to get to hectometers. So I'm going 1, 2, 3, 4 to the left. So when I look at that 12.9, I'm going to take the decimal 1, 2, 3, 4 to the left. And I need to use 2 zeros for placeholders here. That will give me the final answer of 0.00129 hectometers. And I forgot, going back to that previous example, I forgot to put an extra M. So that should be 380 millimeters. Went from meters to millimeters. So 2 M's. Here we went from centimeters to hectometers. All right, let's do another one. Let's go 4.23 decagrams to centigrams. All right. So this time when I rewrite the order, it's going to be kilograms, hectograms, decagrams, grams. Don't forget, that's your base. Decigrams, centigrams, milligrams. So I'm at decagrams. I start off with decagrams. And I want to go to the right, 1, 2, 3 to the right. So I'll look at my decimal or take that value that I had, which is 4.23. And I take the decimal 1, 2, 3 to the right, use a 0 as a placeholder. And the answer is 4230 centigrams. All right, let's do at least one more. Let's go from milli. Let's see. Go back. Okay, so 1,579.64 milligrams. I don't want to go grams. I wrote grams. I want to do liters. Milliliters to hectoliters. All right. So, right in order, once again, we got kiloliters, hectoliters, deciliters, liters, deciliters, write that better, centiliters, milliliters, and once again, just emphasizing that your base is right here in the middle, which is liters in this case. So I want to go from milliliters to hectoliters. So on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to the left. So I'm taking my decimal. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to the left. Don't forget to use that 0 as a placeholder. I have 4 numbers to the left of my decimal. I need one more, so that's what that 0 is used for. And that'll give me 0.0157964. Ran out of room, but hectoliters should be right beside it. All right. So that's the type of conversions that this section talks about. Even when you're converting from US to metric, you're using the previous setup. So what I mean by that, the previous method of converting. So what I mean by that is if you have 55 kilometers or kilometers, whichever way you want to say it. Oh no, 55 miles. 55 miles, and you want to convert it to kilometers or kilometers. First thing you have to do is see if there's a conversion factor for kilometers to miles, miles to kilometers. And the book gives us 1.61 kilometers is equal to 1 mile. All right, so that means I can start off with 55 miles over 1 times 1.61 kilometers over 1 mile. Once again, mile over mile is what you need in order for the mile measurement to cancel out. Now, you just multiply across 55 times 1.61 on bottom, 1 times 1. And that'll be 88.55 on top, 1 on bottom, which will give us a final answer of 88.55 kilometers. So once again, just reverting back to the technique that we talked about in the beginning of the section of using your fractions and using them in a proper way. All right. So looking at your section, that is it. Take a look at those problems. If you have any questions, feel free to email me, and we will go from there. Take care.